Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray, and today we continue our entry level 2 Megabase series, where we in the first episode just got a nice little setup going, having some burner drills giving us our first iron and copper, and having our automated power up and running over here, supplying coal to our steam engines. So in today's episode, I have planned on us starting our smelting arrays. Pretty much the first step into scaling up what we can do and building out our main bus. As always, if you want to see more, do remember to like the video. It is the most important thing you can do in terms of showing me support. And if you're new to the channel, do remember to subscribe as well. And with that, let's get on with today's episode. So firstly, we have belts, we have green circuits being produced. And I kind of want to just set up a few more things we'll need for our main bus. So I'll just set up these two as well. Won't connect them up in some fancy way, but pretty much something like this will get us what we need. So if we look here, for these two, we could in theory just have them all in the same chest if we want to, or we can do it somewhere else. So let's try and stick with this for now in terms of setups. Do 1 and 2. Craft a few of these. And then figure out how we want this to be. So in one of them, I want this one to make undergrounds. And I want this one to make splitters. Just so we have a small storage. We can kind of skip this one, as it's not really needed at the moment for this kind of setup, but it will be very nice to have. So let's see here, if we do the outputs over here the same way we do it this way, we will be able to do a few things. Now that I think about it, maybe we should just do this. Let's do that here, chest in the middle. We will be able to do this. But then we'll have undergrounds here, we'll have splitters over here, we'll have an output chest on both sides, limited to 1 stack. I do like having just a small amount of limit on things, as that makes it easier to manage. There we go. So that looks very good. Now we just need the inputs, iron, electronic circuits, and transfer belts and iron plates. So in theory, if we just drop that in, also some belts, these two will slowly start to produce, but the inserters only picking up as much as is needed. So it might not be fast, but it will give us automated production of these two, and that way we will have some when you want to go back and pick it up in the future. As we're also noticing, our science is done. That means we might as well get the next part going. And this increases mining speed, not really the most useful thing at the moment. Kind of want to go into military science just to get down to this one and get grenades. As I said earlier, there is no biters, but grenades are very, very good for clearing out the forest as well. So that is the main reason for me grabbing a few of these. To get that, we will need our logistics science pack, which then unlocks a ton of things down here. Most importantly for now, getting grenades unlocked. So I think that is kind of what I want to go to for now. And then we will look at it a bit in the future. For now, let's just grab a few things here. So we have some. Let's go and pick up what we have in storage and add it to the chest to get more things produced. Already a nice full chest inventory of items that we'll slowly distribute out into these. That has 700, that has a few. There's more for you. And of course a bit more for these up here. Just adding a bit to each of them to make sure they run. And that is looking good. That will give us most of what we need. So now that our main things are producing, Let's just craft a few of these by hand. And let's set up the kind of production I want here. So as I was saying, here at the start, we are working towards the main bus. The way I'm thinking of doing it is, if you do a smelting arrays this way, at the optimum ratio, adding into a main bus going to the east, I think that'll be a good way to do it. Because then we have iron, copper and stone above, going into it, giving us a nice supply. And hopefully we can expand out this way, grabbing more in case it's needed. So I have a design I always use, and it goes something like this. The right one will be the first one here. We could do 4. The main bus will be 4 lines of copper, 4 lines of iron, and then a few lines of green circuits and such going down the line. But at least 4 irons of copper and iron is very important. So why don't we start it about here, our arrays? The build I'm doing is a pretty standard one. If you see here, we'll do it 2-sided. If you look at the crafting speed of these, it'll produce 1 every 3.2 seconds. A build can take 15, so we'll need just a few to make it going. I think it's 24 per side to give us a full belt. So 48 in total. I think that is the correct ratio. They take 1 iron in and 1 iron out, so the same input and output is needed. Dragging this down will give us a nice setup. And to get this working, we have a few things we need to hook up. So firstly, we're just mapping out the first one. Just like this. That means we have iron ore and coal going on the outside belts. And we'll have iron plates going on the inside. To power it, we'll just do something like this. Will look very good. And that will power all of this. To get the iron in, there's a few ways. Let's just craft a few of you. So if you see here, one of the easiest ways to do it and one of the most used ways to do it is doing a setup like that. That way, we can have one going over here. We can have one going this way. Splitting, for example, coal coming in on the south side and iron coming in at the top. That way we can have, for example, right here, we can have this one jump into right there and jump out again on the opposite side, getting in what we need. So do this one. That way we have a nice modular build that will give us exactly what we need. And I'll show you why in a second. It'll go this way and that way. That means coal will go in here. It'll get split off. One will go here on both sides of the belt. And the rest will continue on. The reason for building it like this is that then we can copy paste this one and paste it down right next to this one, doing a modular expansion to make 4 rows of these. That is the entire point of doing it like this. At the top we'll have whatever, copper, iron, whatever I want going in to have a nice setup for it. For now, we'll keep it like this. I'll just expand it over so we can see the blueprint for it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be our iron. Then over here, we'll have a little bit of space in between, just to make it look a bit better. And to drag things through if you need. As you can see, this is the maximum range. So let's keep 2 spots open. Also separate the iron lines for the copper ones and be able to take things through in case we need to get things on the main bus. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I won't build all of them out right now. I'll do 1, what's it called, for copper. I'll do 1 for iron, just to get the production going. But we have planned out how we want the base to go in the future. So now we need to hook things up. Do we have anything made up here? As you can see, we already have 38 in storage. Even though it's slow, it still gives us much of what we need. And having this is so good in terms of not wasting time handcrafting things as we go. This is also chugging along nicely, making what we need at a slow and steady pace. So if we see here, this is looking very good. We'll need to fill in all the undergrounds before we go, since I want the coal to go from the left over here and to the right. So here we go. Let's just get the undergrounds down first. It does cost a bit of resource to do this at the start, but putting it down correctly in the beginning saves you a lot of hassle in the long run. So if you see here, this will be very nice. We'll need to get a few builds down to hook up the rest. You see, that is very good. You need the splitters to get things going. Just doing it one at a time. Don't really need to put these down yet. I'm just doing it to future-proof it a bit. That means if you put coal in at the end now, it will go all the way to here and split into this one. In terms of power, we can just hook it up right up here and get it in. But to see it in action, let's plan this out. For now, I'll also expand this down a bit, and the power of this is, look, it just fits in nicely. That gives us 4, gives 8, gives us 16, gives us 32, that gives us 48. I think 48 is the correct ratio. If I'm mistaken, do write so in the comments, as I have been... once in a while you do make mistakes when doing ratios, but this should work very nicely. Trim up a few builds down here. They're not really needed, as they'll stop here. So let's get in our first part. That will pretty much just be the iron. Right now iron is being produced in the burners. I kind of want to get them on builds instead. So if you just drag these over here and start to set up the first builds of production here for the iron. I'll keep these for now, as they're good to have, just in case we need them going forward. Let's grab all the iron. Again, the coal is stole by accident. Let's grab the copper. For now, I'll just do a few to get the base going. As we did with the coal last episode, I want to hook up things in lines, just making sure we get everything we need. For now, I'll just do it out here to the left, so we can get it down where it's needed. So if you look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't want to go too far out, because if you see here, we'll start to get stone, and that is not optimal. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that will start to output the iron as soon as we hook it up. This will then go down this way towards our new setup, and it will take 1 into each of these. So for now, you'll just go over this way and directly into that, splitting out on both sides, just lacking a bit of coal to activate this entire setup. We will then just drag it up this way. Might have to move it in the future. And then hook these up wherever we see fit. As said earlier, I want to do it every 3. So 1 here, because then we can do this. Take you, and you'll pretty much fit on top of that. And we can just take you away for now, as we don't want to get in any more than we need. And this will work as soon as we get better power poles. Right now we are lacking a bit because of small ones, but in the future, when we get medium ones, it will work. So there we are. That is stone flowing. Oh, it's not stone. That is iron flowing. It'll go down this way. It will go in. Let's just get you down this way as well. Good. Just get you down this way, please. There we are. And maybe just one right here. So as you can see, now that is picking up the iron. That is throwing it in. Now we just need to go and grab a bit of coal. We could get coal from over here, or we can just take coal from up here. And I think so far, I'll just kind of steal it from inside the base. Keep grabbing belts and such to make things go. Here's more iron for you. Anything else lacking things? You're lacking copper. I want to get you going. And the rest of these are just kind of filled. So instead of this, let's just get a few other things going. Get some lights so we can actually see something at some point. And let's get some of this researched. It's nice to have research going. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for coal. Let's hook you up the same way. Starting down here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Power, power. You can stay here for now. Might have to move you in the future. There we are. There we go. That is our coal up and running. You'll go out this way. To be honest, you'll go out the opposite way and go down to the end of this to merge in. In theory, let's just flip you around instead and take you down this way. Because right now, we just want the input over on this side, going in. So right there. This we can always change in the future, if you want to get it from over here instead, but for now, this will get things flowing. And hopefully it'll get all the way through to the end and all the way down here. Will of course take a little time until all of this is filled, but that will automate our iron production. Let's just set up a small production area here as well. For now I just want one chest. I want you to craft stone furnaces, so I don't want to do that by hand either. There we go, and right here. One in, and then just fill you with stone. Will take a little while, but we could just add a fast inserter to make it go just a tiny bit faster. As you can see there, that will go. The same up here. Do cost a small amount of more power, but they will increase the speed quite a bit. The same as here. Let's grab a ton of things that we could use going forward. Very nice. The next thing I wanted to automate was pretty much just get it here, the inserters. Or maybe get an inserter something else to use it twice. So if you see it, 1, 2, power, get a few chests, 2, and in theory, we can do this one here, go back, and then we can get this one over here to automate the production of blue assembly machines as well, just having a little storage over there. But that's this way, that way, here, here, and here. I'll limit you to, let's say, 2 stacks of inserters for now, then having 1 stack of blues over here, just to have a bit flowing. So take that. Here's some green circuits as well. And then just some gear wheels, which we can steal from up here, since we are already producing some for storage. There we go. That goes in here. And now we have automated a bit of blue assembly machines, or blue inserters, also known as fast inserters. So we'll let that go, we'll let that produce, and go and set up a few more things as we get going. We also need to go grab a bit more coal just to power that, as I do want that to go as well until we have a reliable source for coal. And iron for that matter. There we are. Please just take all of this. Probably have spaced it out a bit better. But it works. So as you can see, now the coal is flowing in. It is going on both sides of the belt, going into our little furnaces and starting to produce all the things we need here. That also means we can start to dismantle that little thing up there, and we'll be good. Let's go grab some stone as well for furnaces. You can see we have a nice 800 sack, enough for 160 of these, and for now I just want these to get produced. So please take that. Here's a chest. And let's get these going. Very nice. I'll just grab a bit for myself so I can handcraft a few while we wait. And let's get done with our iron one first. Showing you how it will look when it's completely filled up. The reason we're doing this is one, just to get it done, and two, because it'll be a nice buffer for all this iron we need. So we have a setup like this. You can go all the way to the end. You can go this way. And you can start to output it in the middle, going down this way. Let's hook up the power. Nice to be able to drag the power poles if you just know where you have to place them. And the last one over here. But that's a nice big setup for iron. We just need to go grab a few more inserters. I can probably handcraft most of them since we are producing them quite quickly. Already have 37 fast inserters, but the normal ones are fast enough for the production we need over here. We do need, since we have 48, we do need about 200. That can't be right. 96, sorry, to fill this up, as it goes twice, 2 for each one of these. So that is pretty much what we have. So let's just fill them in, and then we can start to look at expanding out our production chain. But this is pretty much how you expand out, and it's always good setting up this much in the beginning, as it might not be a throughput issue at the moment. But having this will save you a lot of headache in the future. And when doing this, you can just hold down your mouse button to get things moved around. There we go, just a few more and we're done. There we are. So that is a nice setup going here for what's it called? The iron. The next thing we needed to do was setting up our copper, and that is pretty much doing the same over here. Instead of pasting all of this down like we did before, taking one at a time, you're not able to just take all of that, say I want this one over here. Then you already have the blueprint you need for how you want it to look. That means you can just go grab the items you need, for example more furnaces. I'll just grab that. I'll grab some undergrounds, don't really need that many, we have enough. And let's grab some belts. There's some more iron for you to craft more. Need circuits for me, and that is looking good. So now that this is going, let's hook up the copper as well. There's one side. Here is the opposite side. And here you can really see the power of doing this, how easy it is to fix these. Getting this way, getting all the way to the end. Going back, taking it up top. Never running out of the resource we need, since we have been so smart to set up automated production for it. Which is it's kind of important to do. Let's just grab small power poles. We don't have that automated yet, since it requires wood anyway. But we can set up all the inserters. Get you in. Just a few more. So as soon as we have this up and running, we have the main things for our main bus. We need quite a few more. And there we are. Because this is why I like doing it like this. If you do it modularly, do it stringent, it makes your life a lot easier as you continue along. If you don't do this, you run into a situation where you have to move things, or things don't quite fit together. And this just makes it a lot more enjoyable experience to build in Factorio, that you can actually just set it up like this. Let's go and grab some more inserters. We already have a few here. Here's more green circuits for you. And that is working very nicely. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to grab copper from over here and take it to the side. We need to grab some belts. Undergrounds are still good enough. Down here, let's just place in a few things. Here is the inserters as well, to have things we need to get going. Let's see, let's get this out from the bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just drag the power line along. There we are, getting that going. We'll then just drag belt this way. We'll set up a little underground from here to, well, for example, we can just do this. Let's get a maximum range, which is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be important for when we get to the main bus. But for now, it's just good to know that you can jump 4 with these. There we go. That will give us a copper in. That will give us our coal in. And that will be what we need to get this up and running. Let's just hook up the power poles this way to get the power. So everything is in the correct place, and the things are just slowly being grabbed now. Look at that, we're already buffering a nice amount of iron over here. So that's pretty much how you do this. Setting up a nice smelting array. Let's just get the last few things in. Let's get this in, get all of these working. And then we just need to increase our throughput of copper, iron and coal to make sure we have enough running. And then we have all the building blocks we need to set up red and green signs on the main bus, among other things. The main bus will probably, if all goes well, be the thing we look at next episode, as we now have the throughput we need on these two. And then we just need to look at how we hook up a main bus going towards the east. We'll run into some issues with the trees, so I might clear out a few of those in between episodes, as clearing trees is not the most fun thing to watch in the world. But we'll see what ends up happening. So, I'll end the episode here. If you did enjoy watching me build these arrays and think they're very useful for your continuing playthrough of Factorio, do remember to leave a like on the video, and if you're new to the channel, do remember to subscribe as well. It helps me out a lot, and it lets YouTube know that you want to see more of my content. So if you do, do remember to like. And with that, I've been Dgray, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye guys.